What's going on? What's going on? So what do I think about Rick Carlisle versus Tom Thibodeau and the winning what it would mean for each coach? It would do wonders for their resume. For Carlisle, if he was to go and take the Pacers and win the whole chip, that'd be his second chip he won with the Dallas Mavericks or the Miami Heat back in 2011. This one would probably just be as almost unprecedented because no one saw the Pacers. I mean, at least Dallas had Dirk Nowitzki. All due respect to Halliburton, but no one looks at the Pacers and go, "Oh, this is the like that situation." So he's in rarefied situation if he pulls this off. Now, if you go back 20 plus years ago when he coached the Detroit Pistons from '01 to '03, and they let him go and he ended up going to the Pacers, and you remember the Pistons brought in Larry Brown, they went to back-to-back finals, they won the chip, they shocked the Lakers. Ironically, the Pistons beat the Pacers to get there because you remember Tayshaun Prince's block shot on Reggie Miller. And Rick Carlisle was always like that coach that was really good, but could he get over the hump? And he did with Dallas. And he had some interesting successes on his journeys with Detroit, Dallas, and now the Pacers. So he's got history going on his side. If he was to win, imagine to win a chip in both conferences in two different total situations with two different types of offenses, he would be in an interesting debate. Is he considered a top 10 NBA coach if he wins? We can come back and revisit that. That's how big a chip for him with Indiana would be. Because Rick Carlisle has been kind of one of those guys that kind of got kind of taken for granted, kind of passed on. This could be real interesting if he's to pull this one off. This could be real interesting. So he's got a lot at stake for his legacy. And I'm just sizing it up. What a ring, sizing up Rick Carlisle versus Tom Thibodeau, what a ring would mean for each. For Carlisle, he would go in rarefied company, and his future would be even more brighter. I kid you not. As for Tom Thibodeau, it'd be like a lifelong of journey as a head coach. 15 years into his coaching career, the one that got away in Chicago because he played Derrick Rose too long, and we'll never know how Derrick Rose's career would have been out. And he had to haunt him. Then you go to Minnesota with Jimmy Butler, Cat, and them, and it didn't work. It didn't work. You were too hard. They was too soft. We don't know. Now you're in New York, and Jalen Brunson almost came out the air, and he pretty much gave you deja vu of Derrick Rose to an extent. So now, can you get it right? And can you right the wrong? And if you win in New York, you'll be huge. You'll be even bigger than Tom Coughlin. Because big as Coughlin was with the Giants, won those two Super Bowls with Eli Manning, that was huge against New England. Thibodeau to win in New York, the way they was excited about beating Boston, you go and finish it off, and considering how, as a head coach, that deep journey has eluded you, this would be the icing on the cake. So it would be huge. One ring would do wonders for his career. And it would also more or less right the wrongs of what he didn't get right with Chicago when he got to the Eastern Conference Finals and came up short. It didn't really work in Minnesota. The New York thing, they looked like second round casualties until they beat Boston. So this would be humongous. Can it happen? And so it carries weight for both of them in different ways. For Thibodeau, it puts him in company where he's respected, and that New York's got a chance to be, an interesting landing spot and possibility. But for Carlisle, it can mean considered one of the 10 greatest coaches ever with another chip. Because it'd be hard to argue against him when you consider the extremes from what he did with the Mavericks and what could happen with the Pacers. So that's how I size it up between the two coaches. Because of the coaches that are remaining, they're the ones that's got an interesting history, if you must know, from the Western Conference. These two got an interesting history because it could be real interesting considering their journeys and what they've been through. Anyway, let me know what you think. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another shit. If you like, stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm up one time. Peace.